Let's serve him like we used to serve him. Let's go back. Let's dance like we used to dance. Let's go back. Let's sing like we used to sing. Let's go back. Let's pray like we used to pray. Let's go back. Let's read our word daily. Let's go back. Let's pray like we ought to. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Let's go back to the old landmark. 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 Let's go back.
Any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim giveth, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua, the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good, to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for the Mashiach's sake have forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love as the Mashiach also have loved us and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints, neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. Amen. And now our elders going to come up behind the altar and teach today's class.
Now, being Israelites, chosen to be born in these evil times and called to salvation, we are the power of the Almighty placed as a refuge from the storm and sanctified to enhance our skills in spiritual warfare. So as the Spirit of Yeshua sits and judges between the cattle and the he-goats, he gives those chosen of his Father strength to turn away the enemy of sin at the gates of our minds, right? In our personal lives, and especially in the church. Just as the angel of Yah fought at the side of Moshe, Yeshua, Dawid, and all those of our nation whom he delighted in, so does he with his saints today. And just as he fought against our fathers who were contemptuous to his will and reveled in rebellion, so does he today. So during this purging process, and when the time of scourging comes, those who didn't defeat the enemy at their gates will be the enemies of all that is righteous. Surely Yahweh has prepared holy ground for us, and gave us gifts, planting various grain in specific places as we are nourished. So the Holy Spirit uses the right tool to prepare us for the Master's delight. Chapter 43 and verse 1 through chapter 44 and verse 26. Chapter 43 and verse 1 through chapter 44 and verse 26. We like being captive to sin, brother. It keeps us doing just what we want to do. Right? Okay. That's why we like to be captive to sin. You know what that comes from? No fear of Yahweh. Chapter 43, you could get verse 1 of that.
Yes, sir. Judge me, O Elohim, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. For you are the Elohim of my strength. Why do you cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacles. Then will I go unto the altar of Elohim.
Then will I go unto the altar of Elohim. If you send out your light and your truth, and let them lead me, and let them bring me into your holy hill and unto your tabernacles, plural, then will I go unto the altar of Elohim, unto my Elohim, exceeding joy. Yea, upon the harp will I praise you, O Elohim, my Elohim. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 5. Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in Yahweh, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
We have heard with our ears, O Elohim.
And the angels of Yahweh bear record that you've heard. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days and the times of old. How thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand and planteth them. How thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them. But thy right hand and thine arm and the light of thy countenance, because you had a favor unto them.
Praise God.
You are my king, O Elohim. Command deliverances for Yaakov. Through you will we push down our enemies. Through your name will we tread them under that rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But you have saved us from our enemies and have put them to shame that hated us. In Elohim we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever. But you have cast off and put us to shame and goeth not forth with our enemies.
With our armies.
Our armies, I'm sorry. Verse 10. You make us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us fall for themselves. You have given us like sheep appointed for meat, and have scattered us among the heathen.
Why? Why is he doing all these things to us? Why is he why is he cast us off? Why does he put us to shame? Why don't he go forth in front of us? Why do he make us turn our back on our enemy and cause they that hate us to make us a spoil for themselves? Why did he do these things? Don't read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 11. You have given us like sheep appointed for meat, and have scattered us among the heathen. You sell your people for nothing, and do not increase your wealth by their price. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us.
Jake don't want to be no reproach, Shaq. Jake could do anything. Man, Jake could go through hell and high water, brother, not to be a reproach among the enemy. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 14. You make us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face have covered me for the voice of him that reproaches and blasphemes by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this is come upon us. Yet have we not forgotten you, neither have we dealt falsely in your covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Though you have sore broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our Elohim, or stretched out our hand to a strange God, shall not Elohim search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleepest thou, O Adonai? Arise, cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake.
Right, brother. Jake is crying unto the God of Israel. Of course, he don't call him that because he don't know it. But when our people was down in Egypt, then before Moshe even went to the burning bush, didn't he say, because the cry of my children is come, children of Israel has come unto me, right? And they didn't even know it, right? Well, the same thing today. The cry of the children of Israel is coming up to it, man. Why do you think our folks doing the thing they do? But you always put us here as a vanguard, as a place of refuge from it. Go on and read.
That was it,
Huh? You
That was
finished
it.
that?
Yes, sir.
I thought I told you to go through chapter 44 and 26. I'm sorry, I thought I said 45, 26. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 1 through verse 8. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 1 through verse 8.
Verse 1. I am coming to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved.
I've come into my garden with all these dainty meats and so forth, right? Eat, oh friend, drink. Yes, drink abundantly, oh beloved, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled. For my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I have put off my coat. How shall I put it on? I have washed my feet. How shall I defile them?
Right. Now here he comes. Here come the groom. He knocks on the door, right? He said, open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled. For my head is filled with the dew, and my lock with drops of the night, right? But what did the bride say? I done put on my coat. How should I put it on again? I know you standing at that door there, but I done put on my coat. Right? How should I put it on again? I had washed my feet. How should I defile them? Well, I don't defile my feet, defile myself, coming open the door for you. I'm in the tree. Go on, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. My beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door, and my bowels were moved for him.
Right, he put his hands on my door, in the hole at the door to open the door, and my bowels, my heart was moved for him, right? Mm-hmm. Right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. I rose up to open to my beloved, and my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn himself and was gone. My soul fell when he spake. I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer.
Now, wait a minute. I done got ready now. See? I done perfumed myself up. I'm ready for him now, right? But I go and I touch the door to lock, and I'm just dripping with sweet smelling stuff, right? But I open the door, and my beloved have withdrawn himself, is gone. Why? Because you was in the tree. When he knocked, you didn't want to deal with it. When he spoke, you didn't want to hear what he said. You want to read, brother?
Verse 7. The watchmen that went about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. The keepers of the wall took away my veil from me.
And look, the watchman that went about the city, now she out in the street looking for her beloved, right? The watchman that went about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. Then the keepers of the wall took my veil away from me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him, I am sick with love. If you find my beloved, you daughters of Jerusalem, you tell him that I'm sick with love. Verse 9. What is your beloved more than another beloved, O you fairest among women? What is your beloved more than another beloved that you does charge us? You the one didn't offer, didn't open the door when he came. You finished that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our knowledge and understanding tell us that surely the Master has come into this body, his garden, and invited us to eat of his delicious fruit. Being separated from the wicked, let us not be as the bride who went on hiatus, as the Master knocked in the hearts of her mind. Because if we don't respond immediately when he calls, it's because you don't want to hear what the Spirit has to say. Then, when your time of need comes, which will certainly come, you will seek, but you won't find him, and will call, but he won't answer. Evidently, the evil ones who watch over this wicked city will smite and wound you. Psalms chapter 78 and verse 1 through chapter 83 and verse 18.
Yes, sir. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahweh and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done.
Mm-hmm.
For he established a testimony in Yaakov and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in Elohim and not forget the works of Elohim, but keep his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with Elohim. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back into their battle. They kept not the covenant of Elohim, and refused to walk in his law, and forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as an heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He cleaved the rocks in the wilderness, and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock, and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted Elohim in their heart by asking meat for their lust.
And they tempted Elohim in their heart for doing what? Just by asking for some meat. You know what they said? Man, we tired of this light bread. We tired of this light bread. Jake has never been satisfied with what Yahweh did to him. Jake has always want to do something different. You see? So they said, we tired of this light bread, man. The table of Yahweh is contemptible. Give us meat to eat. Right? Moses said, okay. Okay. You want some meat? Say, you done tempted the Lord my God? Say, you ain't going to eat it for a day or for a week, but for a whole month. You're going to eat it until it come out your nostrils. And while they was eating it first, the plague broke out on them, didn't it? Right. See, people are never satisfied with what Yahweh does for them. And a whole lot of folks don't want to give Yahweh credit for what's being done. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 19. Yea, they spake against Elohim. They said, can Elohim furnish a table in the wilderness?
Can Elohim do these things here in the daughter of Babylon? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 20. Behold, he smote the rock that the waters gushed out and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore Yahweh heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in Elohim and trusted not in his salvation, though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven.
Right. But then, you know who they was ready to beat up? Moses. See, the arm's too short to box with God. So what they want to do, they want to, every time something come up, they wanted to beat up the holy man, didn't they? Man, look at him. He done married that Ethiopian woman over there. He ain't supposed to be doing that. Right? The Lord came up to us and said, hey, y'all come out of this tent. You and Mary, your sister's right there. Y'all come out of this tent. Right? I got something for you. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 25. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow into heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea, and he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat, and were well filled.
They weren't just filled, they were well filled, right? See? Jake still didn't want to follow his instructions. He told them with that manner. Say, look, take what you can eat. Don't lay up none until the morning, but tomorrow ain't promised to you. But what did they do? They took up what they wanted to and left it in the tent, and the whole tent was stinking, right? Right. Jake didn't want to do what he was told to do. See? And then they even had the nerve, they wouldn't take up enough. They was instructed, Moshe told them, say, look, you gather enough on the 6th day, so it'll last you the Sabbath day, right?
Yes, sir.
No, Jason, man, I ain't got to do all that. I'm going to get what I need each day. He got up the next morning, went out there, wasn't none, was Right, right. Go ahead and read, man.
For he gave them their own desire. Verse 30. They were not estranged from their lusts, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of Elohim came upon them and slew the fattest of them and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still and believed not for his wondrous works.
Man, let's appoint us a captain and go back to Egypt. See? Then they wander over there having itching ears to see what this person over here had to say. Then they wandered over there and listened to them folks there to see what they had to say, right? Moses had already told them what the deal was, hadn't he? Okay.
Right. When you read it, you understand how things are put down, how people are. That's what this guy had nobody but us.
Right.
I mean, what they were told to do, and they didn't do it. You see what I'm saying? And then it's just amazing how it just doesn't fit nobody but us. Ain't everybody else like it, brother.
Of course, brother. Jake, you can believe one thing, you can believe with all your heart and soul. Jake don't want to be told what to do. Jake want to be his own Lord and Master. Jake gonna do what the hell Jake gonna do. You don't care what y'all was saying. Don't read, Steve.
Yes, sir. Verse 30. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of Elohim came upon them and slew the fattest of them and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still and believed not for his wondrous works. Therefore their days did he consume in vanity and their years in trouble. When he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and inquired early after Elohim.
Right, when them problems come up on you, you get ready to go, you know them doctors get ready to do something strange to you, Jack. Them medical practitioners, they getting ready to do some practice on you. When things ain't going right, the first thing you want to do is fall down on your knees and say, Yahweh, I know so-and-so and so-and-so, Yahweh don't hear sinners. What here you think you in there? You only read, brother.
Verse 35. And they remembered that Elohim was their rock, and the high Elohim their redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues.
Right, I'm going to do everything that you have said, I'm going to do. You know, Yahweh Elohim is a great God. You know, he's God of all the whole earth. And everything he said, we going to do. Sure you will. Go on, brother.
Verse 37. For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned he his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath.
That's what you brothers have to learn how to do, man. When things go down that you don't like, man, learn how to turn your anger away and don't stir up your wrath. Go on and read.
Verse 39. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passes away and cometh not again. How often did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? Yea, they turned back and tempted Elohim
and limited the Holy One of Israel. In other words, they done turned back, and through that temptation, Yahweh Elohim, they kept Yahweh Elohim from doing some things for him that he could have done. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 42. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy, how he had wrought his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. He sent divers sort of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them.
And raised them up, and gave them all that wealth and power, just to show him some glory in the land of Egypt. This way, Israel was supposed to see all that power and glory, and Israel was supposed to fall down on their knees, and they were supposed to glorify the God of Israel. They saw that stuff. Them niggas got scared when he came down on the mountain and talked to them. They said, oh, man, whoa. Don't let Yahweh speak to us no more. Because if he speaks to us again, we going to die. So you know what they did? They did their own thing, didn't they? Right. They wanted to point them up. They wanted to point old Dathan and go back into Egypt, didn't they? Right. Man, I remember how good we was doing in Egypt, man. The flesh pots and the cucumber. We ate to the full, right? But you was a damn slave. Alienated from the commonwealth of Israel and without God in the world until he came and redeemed you. Now you want to kick against the pricks because you've been redeemed. Verse 54.
Yes, sir. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to his mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High Elohim and kept not his testimony.
Wait a minute, they said, now wait a minute now. Didn't they say out of their own mouth? All that Yahweh Elohim is saying we will do and be obedient. Right? Right? So the covenant was sealed, right?
Yes, sir.
And then they decided, I don't want to do that. Go on and read, bro.
Verse 57, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When Elohim heard this, he was angry and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among men, and delivered his strength into captivity and his glory into the enemy's hand.
Right, and you told them, say, y'all don't understand what's going on. Go back and see what I did at Shiloh where I first put my name. You go back and take a look at that, then you will know what I'm going to do to Mount Zion. And then once you see that, you know what I'm going to do to you. See? Y'all don't change. Go on and read, brother.
Verse 62. He gave his people over also unto the sword and was angry with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Then Yahweh awake as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouts by reason of wine. And he smote his enemies in the hinder parts, he put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Yehudah, the Mount Sion, which he loved.
Yahweh is moving, this thing is going down. And we see it. And we walk around, Mary had a little lamb. Read, man.
Verse 69. And he built his sanctuary like high palaces, like the earth, which he have established forever. He chose Dawid also his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds, from following the ewes, great with young. He brought him to feed Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. O Elohim, the heathen are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heath.
So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hand. But O Elohim, the heathen is coming to your inheritance. Huh? He fed them, and he guided them, but here the heathen and they're why? Read, brother.
Verse 2. The dead bodies of your servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of the heaven, the flesh of thy saints unto the beasts of the earth.
And they said, we don't offend, because they've sinned against Yahweh, their Elohim, their habitation of strength. But they didn't see it. Jake didn't see it. Jake thought he was in sport. Then his crew is talking about, yeah, you know, you're in sport. That's right. That's right. You know, you're right. Right. But then when they went to the priest say, well, let me take it here. You drink this stuff here that I done swept up off the floor. Drink that. Right. That's tell the truth, won't it? Go on and read, brother.
Verse 3. Their blood have they shed like water round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them.
Titus say, we killed so many folks. There was so much blood up on that mountain there. So my soldiers had problems standing up. It happened before, and it happened before that. It happened during the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire, and it's on the way to happen to us now. Do what you want to do about it. No matter to me. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. We are become a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. How long, Yahweh, Will you be angry forever? Shall your jealousy burn like fire?
Right. You made us a reproach of our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. How long? How long are you going to let this thing happen? Dress yourself up and it might stop happening. You're going to be punished anyway. We know that. He told him, said, look, I gave my people into your hand. Upon the anxious, you very heavily laid you yoke. You didn't show them no mercy. So he knew these things were going to happen to him. But see, that has design. Its design is to make us cleave to him in righteousness. Because we know it's only for a little while. But eternal life is forever. Read, brother. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to suffer. Our problem is we don't want to suffer. We want to choose how much suffering we're going to get. Right. Read, Steve.
Verse 6. Pour out your wrath upon the heathen that have not known you, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon your name. For they have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place. Oh, remember not against us former iniquities. Let your tender mercies speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low. Help us, O Elohim of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us and purge away our sins for thy name's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is their Elohim?
Right. You know why the heathen going to ask where is the Elohim? Because you ain't doing what the hell you're supposed to do. So, well, wait a minute. Where's your God? Who are you serving? Look like you're doing what I'm doing. Read on, brother.
Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed. Let the sign of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of your power, preserve you those that are appointed to die, and render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached you, O Adonai. So we, your people, and sheep of your pasture, will give you thanks forever. We will show forth your praise to all generations. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, thou that leadeth yourself like a flock, thou that dwelleth between the cherubims, shine forth. Before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up your strength, and come and save us. Turn us again, O Elohim, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved.
Well, ask yourself a question. For what reason do you give him to turn you? You ain't gonna serve him. You ain't gonna turn unless he turns you. So what reason do you give him to turn you? Read.
Verse 4. O Yahweh Elohim of hosts, how long will you be angry against the prayer of your people?
If he's angry against your prayer, that means that your prayer is not heard. That means that your prayer has become an abomination to you then, don't it? Read, brother.
Verse 5. You feed them with the bread of tears, and give them tears to drink in great measure. You make us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves.
J.K., it says, you feeded them with the bread of tears and give them tears to drink in great measure. Man, Jake don't cry about nothing. Jake walk around walking hardy. Right? What Jake cry about? But it's coming. One day it's coming. Let Yahweh be true and every man a lie. Because it's coming, and we know it. Brother gave up his life unto death. The apostles and holy men gave up their life unto death. You think we're going to slide through this thing here, just walk around getting them little slaps on the wrist? No, them little slaps on the wrist is part of the purging. Wait till the scourging comes. You don't see what you're going to do then. The Holy Spirit going to be taken out of the way. So I'm going to see what you're going to do then. Read on, brother.
Verse 7. Turn us again, O Elohim of hosts, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. You have brought a vine out of Egypt. You have cast out the heathen and planted it. you prepared room before it and did cause it to take deep root, and it filled the land. The hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedars. She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river. Why have you then broken down her hedges, so that all they which pass by the way do pluck her? The boar out of the wood does waste it, and the wild beast out of the field doth devour it. Return, we beseech thee, O Elohim of hosts. Look down from heaven, and behold, and visit this vine, and the vineyard which your right hand hath planted, and the branch that you make strong for yourself. It is burned with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand, upon the Son of Man, whom you make strong for yourself.
Praise Yah.
So will not we go back from you? Quicken us, and we will call upon thy name. Turn us again, O Yahweh Elohim of hosts. Cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. Sing aloud unto Elohim our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the Elohim of Yaakov. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery.
We got a whole book. We got a whole book called the Songs of Zion, right? Well, why we got to sing Gentile songs? We got our own. That was passed down from generation to generation to our fathers, right? For what? For our remembrance. To help us understand that there is going to be our deliverance. Not something that's going to walk around making us feel real good. Go on and read, brother.
Psalms 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the Elohim of Yaakov. This he ordained in yourself for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden, his hands were delivered from the pots. You called in trouble, and I delivered you. I answered you in the secret place of thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee. O Israel, if you will hearken unto me, there shall no strange God be in you, neither shall you worship any strange God. I am Yahweh, thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would not of me.
Right, they snuff at it. Like a dromedary perverse in her own way, just stuff through nose and snuff at it. I ain't gonna do that. That ain't what I think. Right. Read.
Verse 12. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsel.
Right, so seeing that you snuff at it, go on and do what you're doing. Go. It's gonna be fine. Here, now I'm going to show you the reason why you should do it. Right. Read, brother.
Verse 13. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of Yahweh should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee. Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
Deliver them from sin. You can go out and feed them much as you want to, but deliver them from sin. Feeding them ain't delivering them. feeding them, only giving them strength to go do what the hell they want to do. We go out and feed folks, right? The sisters spend money, go out and feed folks, and feeding the wrong people, the wrong food at the wrong time. See? Feed them with the word of God. Read, brother.
Verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Elohim, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations.
Praise Yah.
Keep not thy silence, O Elohim. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Jebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb. Yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zamonah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Elohim in possession. O my Elohim, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood, and as the flames setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with your tempest, and make them afraid with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that you, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High of all the earth.
And he does with it what he wants to, and when he wants to, and how he wants to. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through chapter 48 and verse 22. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through chapter 48 and verse 22. Yeah.
Verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Europe. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Aryans, but thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Aryans, but thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Not only did they have us in slavery, but through simple economics and the different things that has come upon our people, man, it comes from the Gentiles. They destroying our households. Go on and read, man.
Verse 7. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, you that are given to pleasures, that dwelleth carelessly, that saith in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
I'm going to do as it pleases me. Go and read, bro.
Verse 9. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their perfection for the multitude of your sorceries and for the great abundance of your enchantments. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, no one sees me.
Right. Don't nobody know this is wickedness. They think it's all good. Go ahead, brother.
Your wisdom and your knowledge, it have perverted you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon you. You shall not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon you. You shall not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know.
Right, why is all this happening? Where did all this come from? Look back in your past and you'll see why it happened and where it came from. It came from the Lord God Almighty. You know why? Whosoever touched Israel touched the apple of his eye. Read, brother.
Verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein you have labored from thy youth. If so be, you shall be able to profit. If so be, you may prevail. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from these things that shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall not burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, there shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto you with whom you have labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save you. Hear you this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Yehudah, which swear by the name of Yahweh, and make mention of the Elohim of Israel, but not in truth, nor in righteousness.
So we know that he's talking to the house of Judah right now. It's over to the daughter of Babylon, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. For they call themselves of the holy city, and stay themselves upon the Elohim of Israel. Yahweh of hosts is his name. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them. I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. Because I knew that you are obstinate, and thy neck is as an iron sinew, and thy brow brass, I have even from the beginning declared it to you. Before it came to pass, I showed it you, lest you should say, mine idol have done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. You have heard, see all this, and will not you declare it? I have showed you new things from this time, even hidden things, and you did not know them. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when you heard of them not. Least thou should have said, behold, I knew them. Yea, thou heard of not, yea, thou knew of not, yea, from that time that thine ear was not open. For I knew that you would deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb.
Right, so you ain't going to hear certain things. You're going to hear what you want to hear. You want to hear what's sweet to you. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. For my name's sake will I defer mine anger, and for my praise will I refrain from thee, that I cut thee not off. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
Haven't he done so? We bear record. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. For mine own sake, even for mine own sake will I do it, for how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another people. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my call. I am he, I am the first, I also am the last. Mine hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand have spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. All you assemble yourselves and hear, which among them have declared these things? Yahweh have loved him. He will do his pleasure on America, and his arm shall be on the Aryans. I, even I, have spoken. Yea, I have called him, I have brought him, and he shall make his way prosperous. Come you near unto me, hear you this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was, there am I, and now the Adonai Elohim and his spirit have sent me.
Praise Yah.
Thus says Yahweh, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am Yahweh, thy Elohim, which teaches you to profit, which lead you by the way that you should go. Oh, that you had hearkened to my commandments, then had your peace been as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. Your seed also had been as the sand, and the offspring of your bowels like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off, nor destroyed from before me. Go you forth of America, flee you from the Aryans, with the voice of singing declare you, tell this, utter it even to the ends of the earth. Say you, Yahweh hath redeemed his servant Jacob. And they thirsted not when he led them through the deserts. He caused the waters to flow out of the rock for them. He cleaved the rock also, and the waters gushed out. There is no peace, says Yahweh, unto the wicked.
Praise Yah. Being the captive children of the Most High Elohim, surely we see the method that Lucifer has used to destroy our holy seed. Knowing these things, and how that our Elohim was manifested in the flesh to redeem us, having walked with Yahshua, tasting of his fruits, will we willingly disallow our precious vows to commit spiritual fornication or adultery, to separate us from righteousness and holiness in fulfilling the evil lust of our flesh? Surely all have sinned and fallen short of the Most High, of the calling rather, of the Most High. But will we fall to rebellion, knowing we will be cast into the lake of fire? Yahweh Elohim will not be mocked, but what we sow, so shall we reap, and that without respect of persons. We can't say we didn't know, because the holy angels bear a record of what we've been taught. But Jake's problem has been his pride of individualism, his rebellion in not doing what he's told, and his love to strive against the priests. So Jake misuse or disdain, Jake's misuse rather, or disdain of holy things will cause him to offer polluted sacrifices before the saints on the altar of incense. And these are some things that the God of Israel will not take too lightly. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 1. I'm sorry. Psalms chapter 19 and verse 1 through verse 14. Then we go to Matthew. Psalms chapter 19, verse 1 through verse 14. And then we go to Matthew chapter 18, verse 1 through verse 10. Psalms chapter 19, verse 1 through verse 14.
Verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of Elohim, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them have he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there's nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey, and the honeycomb. Oh, I'm sorry, verse 14. Moreover, verse 11, I'm sorry. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there's great reward. Who can understand his arrows? Cleanse thou me from secret faults.
Do you have any secret faults, Israel? Or do you think you so high and mighty that you ain't nothing wrong with you? That you don't know about, that you don't see?
Verse 13. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yahweh, my strength and my redeemer.
Okay, my brother, Matthew 18, verse 1 through verse 10.
Verse 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yeshua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
They didn't even need to know that. But they need to know that. What the hell are they concerned about that for? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 2. And Yeshua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Yes, I say unto you, except you be converted, and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hang about his neck, and that he will drown in the depth of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell fire. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you
that in heaven, take heed now that you despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, don't think about that, man. Jake ain't scared of nothing. Those spoken for, those whose angels stand in the assembly in heaven itself, these are the true sons written by Yahweh Elohim and not chosen by fleshly man. But because evil, misguided people knowingly are deceived to be carnal, these have no fear of the power that radiates from the throne, giving power to his sons in heaven and on the earth. But how can they fear Yahweh Elohim, the Almighty of Israel, whom they have never known? Mm-hmm. Instead, the nations have a myriad of God, and their main deity they call God or Father is the God and Prince of this world. This is why, y'all excuse me, this is why Lucifer has been transformed into an angel of light, and why he come to church right up in here. I know you men of Israel know that, and I know that the daughters of Zion know these things. But guess what? The Holy Spirit has done his job. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 63 through verse 68.
63 to 68. Verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and you shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give you there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Ain't it that way? Ain't it that way among us? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 67. In the morning thou shalt say, would Elohim it were even.
Right, would Elohim it was even. Man, these Gentiles done stress me out. Jake too. Go ahead, brother.
And at even thou shalt say, would Elohim it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto you, you shall see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for slaves, and no man shall buy you.
Right. They bought us in the beginning, but they getting rid of Daniel 8 and verse 23 through verse 26.
Verse 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
It's the Gentiles. It's the Christians. See, we don't understand that these Christians are still on the crusade, right? It's the Christians that have done these things. They've destroyed us from being a nation, and they received the riches of the world, and they're practicing that garbage that they practice, right? And in the process of doing these things, especially through this capitalism thing, man, they're destroying the mighty and the holy people. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
And we know that's almost time. We see things being put in place ourselves. And we know with the condition that we are in this country, it ain't going to take no long time to get done. It can't take a long time to get done. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days.
Okay, my brother, I don't want to go no further than that. Now, Lucifer's children of the Gentiles of Rome have been destroying Judah through Caesar since 62 BCE. Then this Protestant daughter of the great whore made spectacles of us, destroyed our families, and broke the bones of the men of Judah. Look around you today, Israel. There's only one spirit, Israel. So surely you've been instructed and made partakers of that one spirit. But if you don't, or refuse to be a partaker, it's because the God of this world has blinded you, and you fell a victim of your trials and your tribulation. but the just shall live by faith of Yeshua and deliver themselves into the hands of the Almighty of Israel. Praise Elohim. That's about all I'm going to do today. And I'm going to give y'all some scripture to read when you get home. Psalms chapter 52 and verse 1 through verse 9. Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 12 through chapter 2 and verse 14. That's Zechariah 1 and verse 12 through chapter 2 and verse 14. And Psalms, I think we'll finish up with this. Psalms chapter 122 and verse 1 to 126 and verse 6. I think we'll finish up there. Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 12 through chapter 2 and verse 14. Yeah, that's Psalms 52 and verse 1 through verse 9. Zechariah 1 and verse 12 through chapter 2 and verse 14. And we're going to finish up with Psalms 122 and verse 1 through 126 and verse 6.
Verse 1. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of Yahweh.
I don't think I go to church today. I'm tired. I have things I got to do. I'm supposed to meet my cousin today. My auntie coming up from Mississippi. Any reason. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of Yahweh, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of Yahweh.
Praise God.
For there are set thrones of judgments, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, peace be within thee. Because of the house of Yahweh, our Elohim, I will seek thy good.
Praise Yah.
Unto thee lift I up mine eyes, O thou that dwelleth in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look unto the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of a maiden unto the hand of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon Yahweh, our Elohim, until that he have mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us, O Yahweh, have mercy upon us, for we are exceedingly filled with contempt. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease, and with the contempt of the proud. If it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us. Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul, the proud waters had gone over our soul.
Stirs you up, didn't it, brother? Yeah, I know. I know all about it, brother. Yeah. Go ahead. Maybe you couldn't sit down today, man. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Verse 6. Blessed be Yahweh, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth.
Praise Yah.
They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Sion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever.
Mm-hmm.
As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Yahweh is round about his people from henceforth, even forever. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Do good, O Yahweh, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, Yahweh shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel.
Mm-hmm.
When Yahweh turned again the captivity of Yehuda, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, Yahweh have done great things for them. Yahweh have done great things for us, whereof we are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Yahweh, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him.
Right, bringing the fruit of the God of Israel with them. So it's been said, so let it be written. Even so, come Lord Yeshua and save us out of our problems. That's all I'm going to do today. And may Yahweh have mercy on us.